recording is on.
Yes, this advanced type of list we are going to discuss is
I'm
called,
sorry, can you share your screen?
yes, give me a minute, loud. Yes, we're going to talk about RecyclerView. And RecyclerView is an advanced type of list that is optimized for creating efficient lists in Android applications. And it is the recommended way of creating lists nowadays. But because it's a little bit more complicated than uh, primary types of lists like list view and grid view, I decided to defer it to another session so that you have a good background. You have some background in how lists work, like using a simple list view, and after that you can more easily understand how to work with a recycler view. So basically, the bottom line is that you should try to use recycler view whenever you need to create a list in your applications because it's more efficient. This is one reason. Uh, it has good recycling mechanisms so that it uses the resources in the best way. Your application doesn't lag as often as with lists. And also, you can create different types of lists. For example, imagine we had a list view that we were able to scroll from top to bottom and from bottom to top in a vertical direction. But with Recycler View, you have the option to scroll and to design your list in a way that it is scrollable from side to side, from left to right, from right to left. And besides that, it is also able to display items in a grid manner. You know what a grid means? Grid means
Uh,
something like a table. Imagine you have windows here, several windows, one window here, one window here. You can imagine your gallery application in your phone that shows items in a tiled manner. There are several types, and every tile shows a picture. We call that display a grid display. Now I think you
yeah.
understand it better. Good. So, uh, before we create our list that we had in our previous lectures, I'm going to add another item to my list item, another view, and that's an image view. So let's add an image view under the second linear layout, and this is one linear layout, and under the parent linear layout, I'm adding an image view. I already gave it layout width of wrap content, but I'm gonna change it to, let's say, something like 200 depth, and the height, let's say 200 depth, and let's see what is this Android src. We're giving it a picture, drawable. For now, we can choose one of these pictures that we had. And there's layout height, Android layout width, layout weight, no, layout height, 200 depth. Let's give it a scale type, Android colon scale type of center crop, and I want to push it to the left a little bit. So This is one linear layout, and the second linear layout. It's better to add another linear layout to hold these two items together. You know what I'm saying? I cut these two
Yeah.
and put them in another linear layout. Linear layout, wrap content, wrap content, match parent. For width, I give it match parent. Put them here. Also, for its height, not very good. Let's increase the height to 300 depth. No, 200 depth. There is something wrong from the outside, and this needs some. This linear layout has height of wrap content. Okay. And the second one is wrap content. For its height, I give 200 depth. Wrap content for now. And if I remove the weight sum, the weight is 1 and this weight is 0.5. And the second one, I'm gonna give it 200 depth. No. Why is this working this way? Gravity center. Yeah, it was the problem was with the gravity center. This linear layout is the outer linear layout. And the location. The weights sometimes weights make it a little tricky. This is vertical, so there's nothing wrong about that. But this one, the second linear layout, orientation is to be horizontal. All right. I come back to this later and fix its height. There's some tricky part we need to attend to. In order to add RecyclerView to our application, we go to our main activities layout, activity main, and replace our list view that we already have here with a recycler view. You know, we already have a list view. I move it and add the recycler view from the palette. Let me choose the design. It's on the design. Good. From the comment section, I choose recycler view and add it to my layout. As you can see, it has a preview of the recycler view. So I give it an ID of @ plus ID slash recycler view, and I go to my class, main activity class, to fix the errors because we have removed the list. And this time it is called list. But let's change its ID to list so that we can continue working with the previous ID. So the thing about RecyclerView is that we cannot use set on item click listener as we did before. So this list view type will change to RecyclerView. RecyclerView. It's from the package and Redux RecyclerView. We import it. And here we cannot use this anymore, set on item click listener, because we need to create our own adapter for the recycler view. To create the adapter, first let's remove these errors. Contact adapter. I comment this part because contact adapter was designed for working with the list view, but we need a special adapter that works with the recycler view. I right click on my project package and create new class, Kotlin file or class. I name it recycler view adapter or simply list adapter. And this will be a child of recycler view dot adapter recycler view adapter. Yes, it's recycler view dot adapter. Import for recycler view dot adapter. And one thing about recycler view adapter is that we need to introduce a type here that we will use inside the recycler view. And that type is used to initialize single items of our list, which means every list item that we have. So I say list adapter dot view holder. What this means is that I have inside my list adapter class another class named view holder. So I need to create here a class view holder that is a child of recycler view dot view holder. Right, recycler view holder. This needs to call its constructor here. We need to pass in a view that initializes our item, our single item, which means we create this view and send it to this view holder. So I say view, I pass it here. All right. There are there's the rule to create this in a constructive way so that it calls the parents constructor. And also, since the list adapter is a child of adapter, and it needs to implement some methods like uh, uncreate view holder and unbind view holder and get item count. These are similar to what we saw in our previous list adapter, in our contact adapter. It's a little bit similar. Get count, for example, get item count, you see, these are similar.
Yeah.
So we have onCreate view holder, a method called onCreate view holder. In this method, we will create a view holder, which means a class that holds the information about our single items of the list, which means if we consider this whole as a single item, this will create a single item that holds, it will create a class from the view holder class that we have inside our list adapter that holds the information about all these items. All right. So the way we create that uncreate view holder is by defining a view, and since we need to inflate a view, whenever you need to inflate a view, you need a context, but we don't have a context here, so we need to pass in a context. I do that this way. Context. Also, we need to send in some information. As in our previous adapter, we need to send the list of our contacts. So I say list or contacts list contact. I import contact, and for the view I say layout inflator dot from this context that we have. Let's make this context a part of the class by defining val, private val, which means a private member of the class. Create view. I create a view, and the first one is inflate. Inflate r dot layout dot list item, and the second one is the root that will hold this item, and this item and this method will use its information to draw the items on the screen. So since we have the parent, this will be our parent here. So our second parameter will be the parent. And the third one specifies whether we want this to attach to its parent or not. Since we are just creating here an item, we are creating a view, we don't want it to attach to something for now. But later Android will decide to attach it to the list. So I pass in false. I don't want this item to attach to its parent. So I can now return view, but it's better just to it's better to return a view holder. I need to create a view holder from this type. So I say return view holder, and I pass in this view that I just created. And once I have the view inside my view holder, I have several items here. For example, val name or full name, and I find its information from this view. I say view dot find view by ID. What is its type? It's a text view. Import text view r.id dot full name. You see we have the ID of full name. That's right. Full name, phone, view find view by ID, text view again, r.id dot phone. We also have a picture, val picture, view find view by ID, text view, r.id dot picture, the ID is picture. And there's another one, location, val location, view dot find view by ID, text view r.id dot location. All right. These are the members that we have. We initialize the members of our view holder. Full name, phone. And yes, seems correct so far. After onCreate view holder, we also have onBind view holder. OnBind view holder is where we put data from our list inside our items on the screen. No, the data that we have in our model, we put them on the list and display them. We do that by getting information from this position in the list and putting them inside our view holder. So I say holder dot full name is, let me specify the list, private contacts, private val contacts, position. Since it's a list, we access its position this way with get and full name. Full name holder full name dot text. Next one is phone. We are setting the text on the phone text view with contacts, get, position. What is this warning? Should be replaced with indexing. Okay, no problem. It's even less code and better. Phone holder dot location text contacts position dot location. We read location and put it in this text. and also holder. This one, for now, we set a single image. We set a single image, and later we can change it to something that we read from the network and display it. Some constant image for now, like holder dot picture dot set drawable set image resource set image set drawable. It's a picture, right? It's an image view, so we should be able to set its image. It's weird. Oh, you know what? The problem is here. Image view. The type of this view is image view, not text
Yeah.
view.
Yeah.
So now set image resource and r dot drawable dot, for example, bird 7 for now, something like that. Unbind view holder. And guess what? We should write inside get item count.
Get item count. Uh,
Yeah, we should return the type of the item, the type of the list, the sorry, the count of the items
yeah.
inside the list. You don't need the type here anymore because Android recommends specifying them on the left side. So our list is called contacts. So all I need to do is call return contacts get count count like that. So this should work. See, it's not very complicated in
Yeah.
comparison with the list view, and it's more efficient than the list view. Just something that remains some messing up with this list items, and I'm a little bit tempted to change this from linear, because when you have nesting linear layouts, it's bad for performance. Your application gets a little bit slow, and Android doesn't recommend nesting linear layouts inside each other. So what I do, I can remove all the linear layouts that I have. In fact, change this linear layout with constraint layout. Yeah, change it to constraint layout. Remove this linear layout. This one as well. We have one more here. And since these all have IDs, it's good to constrain them. It's easier to constrain them. So this full name. For the full name, let's constrain it to the top first. I can do that this way from left. I constrain it, and for the phone, I constrain it to the right and to the top, like this, and I constrain the image view to the bottom of full name. So I can say app layout constraint top to bottom of, constraint top to bottom of, @ ID, I specify full name. And from the left, app layout constraint, if you want to see what I'm doing, I increase the size of this part. Constraint start to start of. This means that constrain the left of this view to the left of its parent. And also the location one. Constrain the constraint top to bottom of phone, and the constraint end to end of, which means this part. End means right. End to end of parent. Is this constraint true? Right. Name and phone number. Looks like there's a problem with this constraint. Right of this to the right of parent. What about the family name? Start, margin start. Constraint end to end of, start to start of. Constraint start to start of parent. You know why this is happening? Because it knows that this is Persian and it is
Yeah.
right to left, so it considers start as the starting from the right. But I can turn it off by going to Android manifest and fixing that. Android manifest, and I can remove the support for RTL. This way, my layout will always be consistent. So let's say our full name, top to top of parent, start to start of parent, start to start of parent. Yes, the phone number seems to be working. Now the second part, our profile picture. Our profile picture height seems not very good. Let me see what we have done here. Oh, the problem is with this part. Yeah, 150. Depth is good. And in fact, in order to make it look better, I can use a circular image here. And I introduced to you a library that allows us to circular image view, to use circular image views. Circular image view. Lops power. This is a library from GitHub, and it allows you to create nice circular images. Let's add it to our project. Yeah, add this part to the project. We go to build.gradle. Sync now, circular image view. Once we added that, we come here and change the type of image view to circular image view. Since it is still downloading, it doesn't know this class. We should enter the full path to the class, like this. And I'm gonna add some of these properties that the author has used, like these ones. App CIV border width, which specify the border and the border width and the border shadow color, shadow radius. This is a shadow, and it can have different radius and colors. So I add these properties too. Radius, what's the problem? Ten dip. Should be 10 dip, probably. Code, design. Let's build it to have a good preview. It should show the circular preview here. But the location has still a problem with the constraint. The bottom, the top is constrained to the bottom of full name. Bottom of, no, it should be the bottom of phone, end to end of parent. Constraint end to end of parent. Yeah, you see. Let's make the image a little smaller. Our image view is way big. 100 depth.
Why the image is
100.
half?
Sorry,
Okay, now it's better.
there's something wrong with our location. Location constraint. Constraint bottom to bottom of parent. Okay, end to end of parent. Yes, it's the problem was with the width. So not bad. It's working. And I'm gonna change the source to a picture that shows it better. Word 3, not bad. So now that we have our list items, we can go ahead and fix our main activity to see if everything is all right here. So we are sending mcontact
Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Sorry for the disconnection.
Yeah, okay. It's fine.
So this is my list adapter. I initialize it uh, in the update list. Yes, in update list, M adapter. I create a new adapter list adapter. I pass in the context of this class, context, and the members of the contact list, which are M contacts. All right. And in order to display them on the list, I should set this as the editor of my recycler view. So I say mlist, which is my recycler view, and dot adapter equals m adapter. All right, this is not the only thing that we need. Our recycler view also needs something called a layout manager that tells it how to display the items, how to lay out the items of our list. For example, a linear layout manager allows our recycler view to display the items in a linear fashion from top to bottom in a vertical direction. But if we specify a grid layout manager, it can display them in a windowed, tiled, and grid styled manner. And also we can change the orientation of our list. We can display the items from the uh, in a vertical manner or fashion or in a horizontal fashion. This allows different types of scrolling for the user. But just as a simple one, I say m list dot layout manager, and I create a linear layout manager. Simple linear layout manager. And this linear layout manager, as far as I remember, it had some parameters, but now it just shows nothing. Linear layout manager. Yes, it requires the context, which is the context of this class. What's going on with Android Studio? It shows the errors 1 hour later. So context and orientation becomes vertical. So I say uh, recycle linear layout manager dot horizontal or vertical. And we don't want the list to reverse the items, so I pass in false for reverse layout. Let's run it and see the result. Do you have my screen?
Yeah.
Is the video in sync with the voice?
Uh, Not really. I have a bit of lag, as always.
Mhm. Oh, sorry about that. So you see our list. That's not bad. There's our list, and
Yeah.
this time we just swapped our list view with a recycler view. You see, but there's a problem. You see, could you imagine what the problem is?
The numbers are
When we
not
click
right.
something, no, when we click numbers doesn't matter. These are just arbitrary values we have entered. The problem is when
Yeah,
I click something, it doesn't react. It doesn't show any shadow, or it doesn't show any
yeah,
different background. When you click something, it often shows some splashing thing, but currently we don't have it. And it's not very hard to add it. Let's do that. All we need to do is to specify a special background for the items of our list. But before that, let me fix this background of the image because it has background of black, which I don't like. Let's try to see if we can change it to transparent because this is black. Background, for background style, Android color, transparent. This way, I guess we will have transparent background for our image, and it will not turn out to display black on the list. Didn't work. Maybe a white color will work better. Yes, it is better. But before we go and talk about the background for our list items so that when we click it shows a different background color and therefore a reaction to our action, I'm gonna show you how to open an item when you click an item in the recycler view. For that purpose, we need something called an interface. We need an interface inside our adapter. An interface is a mechanism that allows some classes to communicate with each other. What's the error? Activity main binding. My Android Studio has turned a little crazy today, but it doesn't matter. We go to my list adapter, and in the list adapter, we create an interface. An interface called click listener. And interface is defined somehow similar to a class, but it can has methods with no body. You know what I'm saying? I define a method here like a fun on item click. Okay, on item click, position int, and we need to create an interface of this type, an object of this type. I define it here. Var interface m click listener click listener, and I initialize it to null first. I initialize it to null. Let's make it nullable. Initialize it to null. And the unbind view holder where we create single items of the list, I set an unclick listener uh, to every item. Yes, that's the way. So this should have a root so that we can set an unclick listener on it. So I go to my layout, my list item, and create an ID for the root. Once we have the ID, we can use it. We can say holder dot var root view group view dot find view by id or dot id dot root. Holder dot root dot set unclick listener. When I clicked, I check for the listener and click listener. Hang on, this might be a little tricky, but you should study it. This one, click listener. This is a mechanism that we use to notify the containing activity that an item in the list has been clicked. So first we checked to see if it is not null. So I say m click listener. If it's not null, then call it on item click. On item click. And which position is clicked? This position. Okay. But how to make sure that this is actually set an activity? Because we need to set an unclick listener by another activity. We need to define this inside our main activity to be able to make a connection between them. So let's make it public, which by default is public. We don't need to add public because this is how Kotlin works by default. Members are public. So I go to my main activity, and in the main activity, I set unclick listener. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Update list. Great. I want to make a connection between the two classes using that interface. So for that purpose, where I defined my list, my list, my recycler view, mlist bind list. Okay, where did I define my adapter? Inside list view. So I go to update list. Inside the update list method, in addition to defining the list adapter and also specifying its linear layout manager and also its adapter, we also say that the click listener for that adapter, click listener, mclick listener, let's change the name of click listener to simply click listener. I rename it to click listener. This, which means put this activity as the implementer of that interface. Which interface? This interface. If something implements this interface, has to define this inside its body, has to define this method on item click. So this means in order to remove this error, I have to alt enter on it and say let main activity implement interface list adapter click listener. All right. Now this activity can act as this interface and can make call to this method because it is defining that method. So now whenever something is clicked in the list, whenever a user clicks an item in our list, we are notified inside this method. And we can say toast, let me display it with a snack bar. Have I talked about a snack bar?
No, you didn't.
Okay, let me tell you about a snack bar. Snack bar is similar to toast, but it's more compatible with material design, and it's the recommended way of displaying messages to the user in material applications. So for snack bar messages, first we specify a view that has the current layout. So our current layout for this activity is just can be this list, one view that has information about our current activity, current layout, mlist. And the second one is our message. We say item position clicked. And snack bar dot length short and finally show. So let's run the application. Okay. You know why snack bar isn't known our application? It's because we haven't added material library to our application. Material library is the library that contains this.
Yeah.
In fact, we have it, material, but we have several material libraries, which is not good. It confuses the application.
The snack
Snack
bar
bar.
was the
Now it
error.
knows. Yeah, the snack bar wasn't the error. We had two versions of material library and
Yeah.
probably Android was ignoring both. So I removed one of them and now it is using the latest version. Sorry, I'm receiving a call. I'll be back soon.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry for the interruption.
It's okay.
Okay, now snack bar is known to our app. Snackbar.make. Run the app. You see item 0 clicked. This is the way snack bar messages are displayed. Second one, item 1 clicked. Item 2 clicked. So our click listener is working. This way you can simply implement any method that involves selecting items and doing some action according to the item that was selected. The bottom line is now we know which item in the list has been clicked by the user, and that's
Yeah.
good. So one more thing and last thing I want to talk about is displaying a special background for our list items, and that is by specifying a background for the root of our application. Android colon background. I define a special background, not a normal background. This background is not like a normal image. This is a background that we define inside our drawables, and it's an XML file. I name it selector, BG selector. Why selector? Because in fact it's a selector based on what we do with the list. For example, if you press with the mouse or click an item, tap an item with your finger, it will show you a different background color. And if you move over the items with a keyboard, like when you connect your phone to a keyboard, have you done it before? You
No.
can see a different color when you select an item. So we have several types of selecting items. We have clicking them, we have hovering them, we have pressing them, and some other options that I will show you now. So let's create a BG selector file. I directly created from here by pressing Alt and Enter. Create the drawable resource file BG selector. Okay. I created, and its root element is selector because as I told you, we want to select to show different backgrounds based on different situation. So its root element is selector. And we have items in it. Android, state, pressed, true, and drawable, which means we support the pressed state for this item, and when it is done, we show this drawable, this picture. Picture, I can we can display any picture that we want, like one of the pictures that we already have, doesn't matter which, but it's better to display colors, you know what I'm saying. Android colon state focused, which means when you select them with mouse, sorry, when you select them with your keyboard, like this. You see what I'm doing right now? I go up and down with my keyboard directions.
Yeah.
Up, 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 down, down, down. Every item that I select are hovered, are focused. Now focus of my keyboard is on focused. Now it is on hovered. Now it is on last. Now it is on middle, and so on. So state focused, true, and when it is done, Android colon drawable, assign drawable slash I say focus, for example. Focus doesn't exist, so I create it by pressing Alt and Return. Focus.xml. It should not be a selector this time. It is a color. Color. And the color I want to give it could be one of the colors that we already have, or a specific color like FF, like this. And for the pressed state, I also pass in a color. So I create a color for that too. Color. Color. I remove the end tag because I don't need it. I just need to specify a color. So I specify blue, the color of blue here. So the color code for blue is 0000FF. You see here, it's showing blue preview. Good. Why do we have some complaints from Android? BG selector, focus, good, and press. What's wrong with the press? Okay, the first line shouldn't be empty. That was the problem. Let's run the app again. And also, it's good to have some padding around our list items. Currently, it seems we don't have a padding. So we have padding, but it's not that much. 16 depth is good. Increase the height a little bit. Okay. You see?
Yeah, I see it.
When I select an item, it's now running. When I press, it's one color. And if I go with keyboard, it should be a different color. But it's not showing the keyboard state. And that's because I haven't specified focusable. I have to make the items focusable. So I say Android focusable to true. Apply the changes. You see?
Yeah.
Now it is focusable, and when I focus on a certain item with my keyboard, it shows the color I specified for the focus state. And when I click something, it shows the blue color which I specified for the press state. So this is a technique that you can use for your applications that use RecyclerView. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
All right. So please review this lesson about
Yeah.
RecyclerView and the previous lessons. The source code is available on GitHub, and you can review. And if there's any question, let me know. Most probably in the next lecture, we will talk about a new technology for database that is called Room. And the reason why we are going to discuss it is that it is recommended by Android for implementing databases. And since you have some background in SQLite, and we already discussed it, now we are ready to talk about Room that is more efficient and better for implementing database. So thank you for
Thank you
attending
for your
and
time.
have a good evening.
Goodbye.
You're welcome. Wait a little bit. I want
Okay,
to talk about something. Sorry.
okay.
Let's end this video. Stop recording.